So what you just heard was a track called Tales of Forgotten Biomes by Electronic Visions. And I'm happy to announce that I am now joined by Electronic Visions, aka Luke.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to Radio Brutus, Luke.
Thanks for having me. That was real smooth, by the way.
I think it went. I've been doing this for 4 days now, so I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, it's great. How you kind of mixed that with the last movie quotes. That was real smooth. So
Yeah. That went. Sam provided me with the perfect transition track for your session, so I think that was nice. Thanks for the compliments.
Yeah, no, sure.
How are you doing today? You were here also yesterday in the sweatshop working on some beats for the Brutus beat battle, and now we're doing your own session. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Thanks. Yesterday was really fun, even though it was really hot over here, especially in this building with no AC. It was great cooking up some tunes. I was really happy with what I came up with in like just 1 hour.
Yeah, I think it was very impressive.
Yeah.
I think everybody's tracks were really on point, and like this came up quite quickly together, I would say. So like thanks for showing up yesterday. Also shout outs to Wall and Obey the Crew for providing their tracks.
Their tracks were awesome as well, for sure.
I really liked all of that program, and on by Wall we also had an interview, and now today we will have your interview. And I initially wanted to schedule you for Friday when we had the music day, but we couldn't make that work.
Yeah,
Why?
I had to go to a certain festival.
A certain festival in the Netherlands. What might that be called?
It's the Liquisti Festival, drum and bass festival. It's like an annual thing. I mainly went there to support one of my friends who was playing there.
Oh, cool!
But it was a great time. Met a lot of cool people, and it was hot but fun.
Amazing.
Keep it at that. Yeah.
Did you see anything, any specific artists that caught your attention, or that you like specifically, or maybe your friend who was playing in there, or how did it go?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen my friend play live before, so that was a cool experience for sure. He absolutely killed it. There was a nice crowd. Everybody was vibing. So, yeah, what more could you ask? I mean,
amazing. Shout outs to
his drum and bass alias is Nexus and Tide, but he's primarily known now as Voyage. He makes under Voyage. He makes kind of the same music as I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That leads us very naturally into your own music, so that's what we're going to be discussing during this session. I'm going to ask a couple of questions about cinema as well, because that's the theme of the day, and I think you know your way around cinema as well. But could we hear it from yourself, that what kind of music does Electronic Visions make, and how did you end up being called Electronic Visions?
Ooh, yeah, that last one is a pretty simple story, but I'll get to that. I kind of make. I started as primarily a synthwave project. I was really inspired by artists like Home and Yutsu back in the day. That was back in like 2018. That was also kind of the year I really started to get into music in general. And before, I don't know, before 2018, I kind of listened to electronic music, but more kind of like the EDM kind of stuff. But when I found out about Home's Resonance, it's a pretty famous track by now. I was completely sold, and then I found out about Yutsu's work, and that really caught my eye as well, and that made me decide like, oh, I wanna create something like this as well. And then one of my friends gifted me a copy of FL Studio, and yeah, that's when things kind of took off. Throughout the years, I've I've gained a lot of experience in music production in general. I experimented with a whole bunch of genres, and all of that came together in one specific style that I'm trying to do right now. I don't even know how to explain it properly. It's a whole bunch of. It's kind of like a mix between synthwave, down tempo, ambient, chill house, stuff like that.
That's amazing. That's what I love about music, is when you like are able to bring different like influences from different genres and together making it into something that's unique and something that cannot be pinpointed on the artificial genre map.
Yeah.
That because people really want to like put everything into categories and so on, and it makes sense. It makes like finding new music easier, but I think the real magic happens when you create something that cannot be labeled into any specific
Exactly.
genre.
I mean, there are so many genres nowadays, man. It's unreal. Like even in our kind of synthwave corner, there are so many micro genres. It started with just vaporwave, and now there's, I don't know, vapor trap, mallsoft. The list goes on, and I don't know. People kind of get caught up in it.
Yeah, every day there's a new genre.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
What was it specifically for you, like with this synthwave and all of its sub or micro genres? Then, like, what resonated in that for you, or like, why did you feel attracted to start making this kind of music for yourself?
I guess I've also always kind of liked chill music, but I didn't really know where to look for it. And when I came across, like I said, Holmes music, like there was just something about it, like the tempo. It's generally pretty slow. Like I'd say the synthwave BPM is kind of like between 90 and 120, so it's generally could be pretty chill. But I don't know, that also kind of like the retro vibe that the genre is known for is really something that, it's definitely appeals to me in a way.
Is it like because like how I kind of what I get from this kind of music, and like I'm not like super deep into the genre, so you're gonna have to explain things to me a little bit.
Sure.
Hopefully our listeners might also learn something new from it. But like for me, mostly like I see that this is music that many people use as a nice backdrop for like kind of when they're doing other things. So like I think in this genre the lo-fi girl YouTube videos, like I don't know if there's the original one, but with the like the Japanese kind of look behind the window and then the girl on her desk.
Yeah, that's lo-fi girl. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's kind of something that I used also, like when I was still in school. It would be nice to like just put that live stream on and then work on your stuff as long as you can go. But what really applied to me, like in that kind of music, is this certain sense of nostalgia that is associated with the sound. So like, how do you see that nostalgia in your own music, or like do you take some influences from like older things into?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because that's actually what I feel like a lot of people who listen to this genre kind of feel the same way. I see it a lot in the comments of YouTube videos, primarily on the YouTube channel Electronic Gems, where pretty much every chill synthwave song is uploaded to. All the comments, most of the comments say like, oh, there's a really nostalgic vibe to it, and I think that's also what is really appealing to the people who listen to it. And I'm not sure the exact demographic of people who listen to this genre, but I can understand like the people who are kind of raised in the 80s or the 90s can feel a bit nostalgic when hearing some of these sounds, especially kind of like the 8-bit type sounds that are usually associated with like the old video game music. But for me, I don't know, I kind of shifted more to the kind of the 90s aesthetic instead of the 80s aesthetic these days. I used to be heavily inspired by 80s aesthetics and 80s nostalgia, but yeah, I feel like the 90s are kind of underrated in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's completely true, and like I feel that in like yeah, not talking only about music, but like I feel that the 00s, I don't know, is that how you call it? But
The
like
00s, oh yeah.
that's
yeah.
where I see what fashion is drawing inspiration right now. Or like if I see young kids on the street, they look like they're wearing the same clothes as in the 00 century. And like I've been watching a lot of movies also. Like I have this one weird niche movie interest, which is like movies that are filmed in Helsinki, like around millennium time, because like that was such a beautiful moment in human history with like so high expectations and things looking up and like all this technology, internet coming into
Exactly.
and so on. So if the music kind of takes you back into that kind of good old times, then maybe that is what gives people this because like I get from this kind of music, I get this like relaxed feeling and like kind of warm and fuzzy and cozy.
Exactly. It's like a warm hug, pretty much, right?
Yeah. So you're making auditive warm hugs.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually you described it pretty well there, I think. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty funny though as well because a lot of people are nostalgic for the 80s and the 90s, but I also see kind of nostalgia for the early 2000s coming up, right? Like I keep seeing a lot of those. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Frutiger Arrow type of things. That's like kind of the Windows 7 aesthetic, Windows Vista aesthetic with these really vibrant colors and glassy. I don't really know how to explain it, but it kind of has that futuristic vibe to it. They usually say like, oh, it's the future we were promised but never actually got. Because everything is so simplified nowadays. Like all logos are so are like oversimplified. You
Yeah,
can
like
see it
minimalistic.
everywhere.
Yeah, the big brands are changing their logos into these really simple typefaces, and like that's the big picture how I think things are also moving forward too. So
yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of people see that and they're like, oh damn, the Frutiger Arrow era was kind of awesome actually.
Yeah, I can understand why people would think that for sure.
Yeah.
How is it then like moving from the genre to like your own music? How long like have you been now making your own music?
Well, yeah, I started in 2018, but it was just a hobby pretty much until 2022, something like that. That's when I learned about Music Production Academy in Rotterdam. And that's when I signed up for the full course there, which was a really good decision because I ended up learning so much there, and I gained so much new knowledge, and I kind of see it more than just a hobby now. You know, it's
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, yeah.
Shoutouts to Music Production Academy.
Hell
also
yeah.
hosted a great session yesterday at Radio Brutus. So if there's any aspiring music makers listening to Radio Brutus, you should definitely check out MPA and what they have to offer. So like for you, Luke, taking that course then took things to another level, and I think that like if you say you've been doing music since 2018 and like not so actively even in the beginning, but like still it's a very short time period to compare to what you have achieved with your music as well. So you had your tracks released by various labels, I think, already.
Yes.
And like you've done collaborations with some big names in your own genre.
Yeah.
What would you say what's been the highlight of your career so far for yourself?
Ooh, there are so many highlights, man. I feel like every collab I did is a highlight because it's really awesome to work together with a lot of people. But I guess the peak thing for me was my first vinyl release back in 2023, like really early 2023. that was really a slap in the face for me. Like, oh, we're actually doing this, right? It's actually kind of taking off, and that was a really surreal moment.
Now,
And,
how did it feel when you finally got that LP into your hands and saw the artwork and the cover? And
yeah, it's I cannot really put it in words how how it felt.
Yeah.
It was really it felt surreal. It kind of felt like I was dreaming, to be honest, because me and that label have been working on that for so long. It was kind of during that period where vinyl manufacturers were having a lot of trouble keeping up with the demand for vinyl, and so we had to wait like more than a year for everything to get finished and wrapped up and sent to the label. And then, of course, the label is located in the United States, so I had to wait even more I had to wait even longer to get my own vinyl in my own hands. So it was kind of, it was kind of a little bit annoying at some point because I knew at some point the records were done, they were getting shipped, but I had to wait an additional month.
That must have been a long month.
Yeah, that was a really long month, but yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's
really
cool.
awesome.
That's good, and that's like congratulations for making that kind of release, and like it must feel surreal to hear your own songs from the pressed vinyl. Like
yes,
I'm just like personally constantly still impressed by just the technology that is vinyl records that we have.
I know,
this
right?
very old, and like you can just put it like turning in the turntable, and you can put your ear next to it, and you'll still hear the music.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's like it's mind blowing to me, man.
How did that get audio in there? Like,
Yeah.
how
like,
is that even
how do you
possible?
have all the sounds in the world like possible to like just by carving it? It's just I haven't wrapped my. I should watch a YouTube video on like how it works to like maybe understand it.
I did watch a YouTube video about it. I still don't understand it. So
Yeah, that's what I thought that might be the case.
yeah, it's kind of watching a video about like Donnie Darko, the movie, and afterwards like still not understanding what the movie is about, in my opinion.
Yeah, that takes us to movies very well,
Yeah,
and that's
a good bridge.
that's a perfect bridge, and like that's the same experience that I have with all of David Lynch's work, like Mulholland Drive, we just went to see in Den Haag a while ago, and I have no clue what that movie was about, but I really liked it still. So
yeah, right. It's like David Lynch can really pull that off, like having you like 15 what the hell moments in one movie and getting away with it. Well, like, I watched it and I definitely was. Like, the first half, I was kind of like, all right, I kind of understand what this is about, but then at some point, something happened and I was just completely lost. I was just like, I was so confused, just staring at my screen. It was like 12 midnight, everybody was going to bed, and I was just sitting there like, what is going on here? And afterwards, I mean, of course, I looked up videos on what it was about, and I kind of got an idea, like, oh, this is kind of the rough idea. I'm starting to get it now. And then I rewatched it like a month later with some of my friends, and then everything kind of fell into place for me. Like, oh, damn, this movie's a masterpiece.
Oh yeah. It's
great.
Sometimes it takes a couple of rewatches before the things open up for you, or like before you can really understand what it's about.
Exactly.
I'm gonna ask a real hard question for you, which you haven't prepared for. But could you name what is your favorite movie? As we're talking about movies today.
Ooh, I don't usually think about that actually, because I love a lot of movies, and but I think one of the movies that I regularly rewatch is Inception for some reason.
That's very good.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. I still feel like it's Christopher Nolan's best movie. One could argue it's kind of a cheap concept. Like they could have done a lot more with like the dream space and the dream world. But I don't know. In my opinion, the simplicity is also what kind of kind of gives it a good vibe, in my opinion. And it was, I don't know, the idea of lucid dreaming always kind of appealed to me. So having a movie about exactly that was like, yeah, amazing. Much.
That's a great choice. And personally, I really love Nolan's work. And like, I think when he made Inception, he was in his best era of movie
For
making.
sure.
Like that was
For
really, some really cool concepts that were being discussed in this movie.
I mean. I think number 2 goes to The Shining for me.
Oh, that's a classic. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's One can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, some would argue the book is better than the movie, but I always said, like, of course I've read the book as well, and for a while I thought the book was better, but then I started watching the movie again and again and again. I was like, all right, now the movie is definitely better.
We can agree that both are very good.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Not like from the same author. Pet Cemetery and its film adaptation, I must say that the book is a lot better.
I haven't seen that one, actually.
Yeah, you shouldn't see that
okay.
one. It's not very great.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah. Stay away from that.
All right. Thanks.
Well, hey, look, I think that it's time for us to start preparing to listen for your mixtape. So I asked you to prepare a little mixtape for Radio Brutus listeners so that we could hear your music, and then I don't know, maybe some other music you selected. So do you want to give a little introduction for our listeners on what they're going to hear?
There's not much to introduce, to be honest. This was my first ever time creating a mixtape, so it was kind of tough to do, but in the end I'm happy with what I created, and it consists of already released songs, a couple unreleased songs, and a couple of songs that I really like from other artists. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, amazing. So Luke's mixtape will now set the mood for our Sunday afternoon. We will have one more program at Radio Brutus today, and that is going to be a DJ set by Chesin. Are you sticking around to hear that?
Yeah, most likely, yeah. For sure.
Great, man. Without further ado, I really want to thank you, Luke, for taking the time coming to Radio Brutus, also coming yesterday to participate for the beat battle, and thanks for coming to Radio Brutus.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I had a blast yesterday and having a blast right now, so good times.
Absolutely. Good times continue with electronic Visions exclusive.
It is true, though. It's true.
It is also electronic music.
Bye.